Why hello, my loyal little bug followers. First off, let me get this out of the way. I had every intention of keeping up with the style of the previous video, but I've gotten extremely busy with work and life things in general, and I still want to do this. I'm super committed to doing this. I love this channel. I love that I have been doing more and getting more views and steadily growing subscribers, so I have no intention of leaving this channel stagnant. But I am so tired, and I totally get it. That's maybe not like a huge excuse. I had the same problem last year. Last year I was doing 2 jobs. This year I'm just doing 1. It's just very long and tiresome. So I'm so sorry. I had this whole thing planned where every video was going to start with a sketch where the animated character that I have is now escaping law enforcement because he drove that exploding car into a mall. It was going to end with me having to go live action to hide his identity, and it was like, oh hey, I have a helmet and all that. There's no freaking way, both with how long it would take to ship and make and how long it would take to put aside funds for it, I would not be able to get the video, that concept done in time. So we scrapped that idea. I'm going to keep some of the concepts that I have for it, but you know, like I planned before, I'm gonna do live recordings when I have finish up the resources, and last I just needed some accessories. So a few months down the line, maybe we'll see. Anyway, we have some bugs to talk about, and don't let the monotone tone in my voice confuse you. I am very excited. These did come out a couple days ago, and I have been ecstatic to talk about these. I love everything about these. I think Megaconi has gone in another fantastic direction, finally, and I'm really happy to see some familiar faces. But there's a lot to go over, and we're gonna start from the very beginning. Now, I'm just gonna go down the list in terms of like rarity, because the pictures have just kind of formed that way. But I'm really excited to talk about this. So, first and foremost, we have the queen herself. Gridora has entered the stage. I am so damn excited to see her back. It has been far too long that we have been without our queen, and I'm very happy to see her come back, and better than ever. And of course, the cradle marker mechanic. Oh boy, I forgot to put a picture of it on the slideshow, but it doesn't really matter. So let's get this right out of the way and talk about what the cradle markers do. The cradle marker is, of course, a marker that goes on your opponent's side of the field. The marker says that unit loses its original ability, its power is reduced by its original power, cannot boost or intercept, and when it is retired, you search your deck for up to 1 card of the same grade as that unit, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So, it is lock light with an ultimatum. And finally, after it has been year upon year upon year that I have been asking and begging for an ultimatum mechanic, a ransom mechanic, finally we've gotten it. And I'm really happy to finally see this. Now, there are some common questions and concerns about cradle markers that I do want to address, that I've seen the community kind of at large talk about and use to critique or ridicule it, and I want to talk about that because I think there's a lot of potential here, and I think the deck has already shown to sort of handle situations where cradle markers aren't as useful, and we'll talk about that later, but let's dive into Gridora's skill. So, on Vanguard, Counterblast 1, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rear guards without a cradle marker on them. Put a cradle marker on each of them. Straight up act skill, fantastic. Auto, when it attacks cost, retire a rear guard, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3, call it to rear guard, shuffle your deck. If you called that unit and this unit, get plus 10,000 power until the end of turn. So, right away, you have a really cool control skill and sort of complemented by a nice offensive skill. This ties into a few units, and we'll talk about this a bit later, but the big thing that we have here, and the fantastic advantage, is not only does she fill a good portion of the field by herself, which means she can handle the front rows, at the very least. You know, if you are working at the very minimum of what this deck has to offer just because of bad luck, she can still completely offer what you need in terms of longevity to your game plan. I love this. I love this, the way this card works, but what I love more is that to complement this, we have a completely separate ability that is just a chain of attacks. Now, under normal conditions, this is 4 attacks. However, the first thing that was realized right away, and everybody realized right away because Bushiroad had a combo video, but is that Hell Demise, which is a grade 3 that I forgot to put a slideshow, a picture of in the slideshow, but is a grade 3 without a marker, and his ability is when he's placed, you can rest one of your opponent's units, but then you can also stand one of your own, which means he, in combo with the skill, can give you 5 attacks. Oh boy, I'm so into this, and not just because Mega Colony is long overdue for a little bit of aggression, a little bit of evened out aggression. You know, Colio is a step in the right direction, but his whole RNG thing just kind of shot him in the foot at certain points. This is sort of the answer to decks that are not super intimidated by the Cradle Marker. Best example off the top of my head is the X. The X does not need to commit to a board really whatsoever to have a really aggressive, and a really efficient game plan. They may throw that restanding booster. There may be a couple combo pieces they throw out there, but at that point, that's usually when they're trying to close in for game. This is how you counter that. You have an efficient amount of aggressive attacks that allow you to still remain aggressive, still remain afloat, and still have a game plan, regardless of really what's going on your opponent's board. The rest is, I mean, this is just icing on the cake, but it's icing on the cake that can serve as a full game plan when your opponent's matchup, when your matchup with your opponent just isn't quite serving your all-together game plan. And that's what I really, really enjoy. I mean, there are things like Graham Blue, Messiah, again, you know, the X, what are more, I mean, Pale Moon to an extent, just anything that doesn't really care about their board very much. That is how you deal with things like this, and I adore this. And even, you know, on the other side of the spectrum, there are things that do care, and you can hit key units so well. I mean, we have Shadow Paladins coming up in this exact same set, and Shadow Paladins have proven time after time again, especially in Standard, that they are a threat. They are constantly pushing out things that are high in aggression, high in advantage, and this is how you shut down Nemens. This is how you shut down like a Morian Spear, or you turn off like a Mordred's Blaster Dart combo. And if they have to get rid of these things, they have to give you something in return, and I really, really, really enjoy that. And obviously, you know, the pros are all here, but what I really do want to focus on are the people that are like, oh, well, this is bad because, you know, matchup A, B, and C doesn't care if you put protect markers on it. And again, just look at that second line of text, and that right there is your answer. That is going to be a very hefty chain of attacks, and a deck that we don't have the full thing, you know, released yet. But there are plenty of combos and other grade 3s and other things like that flow very well with this, and I really, really enjoy that this is something that we're going to have finally to our advantage, because Mega Colony has always lacked aggression. I mean, they had it in the end of G era, but like everything had what they needed at the end of the G era, so why would anybody really care, you know, up to this point? And, you know, it wasn't until these decks that came out in Standard, they had aggression, but sort of came at a cost, you know? Machining had aggression, but it was very combo piece reliant. Colio has aggression, but it was very RNG reliant. This is just good old combo-based aggression, and I love this. I love how this works. It makes me very happy. I know I sound like I want to die right now, and trust me, it's just 5 a.m., and I'm just very tired, but I am very excited about this. This is an amazing card, and we're just getting to the first card in this list. The rest of the stuff that is on this, you know, agenda that's on this discussion is just adding so much flavor and having so much to offer, and I love this so goddamn much. But anyway, let's get to the next card. We've got Despoiling Mutant, Sticky Bolas. Now, the first thing I want to point out about Sticky Bolas is that she is obviously modeled after the Bolas spider. They are known to actually web things in and drag them in. So she is a spider cowgirl with a lasso. Gross. Anyway, so Sticky Bolas is like our mainstay grade 2. She's our triple rare for the set. Vanguard or Rearguard, when placed, kind of must one. Look at 6 cards on top of your deck, reveal to a total of 2 cards with Darkface and their different card names from among them, and put them in your hand and shuffle your deck. Great synergy, great consistency. It's just a better Mantis, basically, for this deck anyway, which is nice because I don't really want to continue to be shackled by the Mantis and Hornet combo. I think that it takes away from a lot of the creativity this deck is going to have, and not to mention we have a very high grade 3 counts coming in this deck. I mean, we're looking at about 10 to 11, maybe even possibly, well, 12 is pushing it, but 10 to 11 is my guess, grade 3 count, and it's really going to suck the life out of the grade 2 and 1 count, so we really want to make sure that what things we are running actually count, and we don't just want like more grade 3 search. At this point, then you're just stacking grade 3s in your hand, and yeah, you're deck thinning, but you lack a lot of like combos, and the deck just becomes very predictable and blah blah blah, so not to mention we have the grade 3 searcher coming out, so it just makes it even more redundant. So very good skill. And then when it attacks, Soul Bust 1, this unit gets plus 6,000 power for each of your opponent's rear guards with a cradle marker on them. If this unit's power is 20,000 or greater, draw a card. So I've been known to be very wrong about reading skills, especially at 5 a.m. when I have been working all day, but I think the way this is worded, I'm pretty sure that this card's 20,000 or greater clause can be accommodated by a booster. So, because it's not like, you know, when this unit declares an attack or whatever. So immediately, Soul Bust 1, draw a card, fantastic, awesome, I love this, amazing. But not to mention, if you are getting this card above 20k, that means with a boost, triggers, you know, anything else, or even its own ability. And I try to leave out its own ability because I want to make sure that I'm including, you know, tips and tricks for matchups that aren't going to hand you a lot of fodder to put cradle markers on. But even then, if you manage to hit this and you restand it with Hell Demise, that's an auto skill. It's not once per turn. You can absolutely Soul Bust 2 and get a second draw off of this. I love the way this works. I love the advantage from it. However, I want to move on to the next one because obviously you happen to notice that Sticky Bolas actually said 2 or more with different names, or 2 units with different names, and that means that my boy Darkface is back. Yeah, God, I am so excited when I saw him pop up on that stream. I mean, I was so overjoyed and so damn happy. Just, God, I missed him. I missed my boy. I obviously, like, you know, I will pay premium. I'm not a big fan of premium, and that's just me. It's just not something that I have an interest in playing, and so I really haven't been able to play Darkface in a very, very long time, and I missed him terribly. He's my favorite card in the game. I adore him down to every fiber of his little bug being, and I'm so happy he's back, and he's really solid. He is still second banana to Gridora, but I'm totally okay with that because he actually has an ability that kind of accommodates you if you happen to ride him through bad luck, which it shouldn't really happen. You have a lot of search in this deck, and if push comes to shove, you have even more search options that, though I'm not really into the idea of running, you can run if you'd like. So, Vanguard Rearguard, when placed, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your opponent's rearguards without a cradle marker on it, and put a cradle marker on it. Auto, Vanguard Rearguard, when it attacks, counterblast 1. Choose one of your opponent's rearguards with a cradle marker on it, retire it. This unit gains plus 5,000 for each grade of the chosen unit. So this is awesome for many, many reasons. I mean, he's just a very good combo piece to Gridora. I think he's probably going to set about maybe 3, 4 maybe. It just kind of depends how well and how consistent everything else looks in the rest of the deck. Obviously, he provides a nice cradle marker addition, and he also immediately retires a unit with the cradle marker, so he immediately gives you a search. He can immediately get like a big boost in his power, and not to mention, if he happens to restand, he can do it again, and that's so fun. I love how this guy works. You know, he's just everything that he needs to be as a card. That's what I like. I like seeing things in these decks that are, you know, like, you always see people theory craft these decks, and they're like, oh, well, I think Cradle Marker should be like, I don't know, insert exact, you know, lock in word for word here with better abilities, or, you know, I think it should be, you know, all my units gain 10k and the effects of the units on my opponent's circles, and it's like, whoa, what? And, you know, I love seeing things like this. They're exactly what they need to be. It's not too much, it's not too little, it is exactly what this deck needed. Now, it is a brand new mechanic, and again, we've gotten a brand new mechanic every single time support has come out in Standard, and, you know, strangely enough, I'm kind of okay with that, because, I mean, aside from last year, it's worked out pretty okay, and, you know, just to see this all come back into this is so awesome, and then my boy's back, and so I love him dearly. And I'm just kind of rambling on, so I'm just going to skip to the next one because I'm just going to keep talking. So excuse me while I fumble through my my list of here we go, my wiki lists here. So we have a grade 2 that came out that was just a rare, I believe. Yeah, it's a rare. This is Melody Mutant Nympha. Love this card's art. It looks really cute. I like it. During your turn, if a Cradle Marker is on your opponent's rear guard, this unit gets plus 6k. When retired from rear guard by a card's ability, Soul Blast 1, give your opponent a unit, rear guard, excuse me, give your opponent's rear guard a Cradle Marker. So, I don't see this one getting used. It's too reliant on Cradle Markers, and I feel like that lacks flexibility against things that are resistant to your Cradle Markers. I'm looking at Tachikaze, for example. Like, we don't know what Gaia does yet, but without a shadow of a doubt, if it has something to do with equip gauges, like, it's going to be using Sweeper. Sweeper, you can't touch him. He's just an untouchable card. And so, you know, again, that's another just good example of a deck that is resistant to it, and so you kind of have to think on your feet and use things that are a bit better. So I don't see this card getting used. It's good on paper, but when you really think about it, it's a little too reliant on the Cradle Marker mechanic. So, unfortunately, I don't think I will be using him, but we have one more unit, and I have already, there we go, in this lineup, and it is Cleared Breeze, grade 1, another rare. Maybe it's a common, actually. Maybe? No, it's a rare, my bad. Another rare. When placed, Vanguard or Rearguard, discard a card from your hand, draw a card. If you discard a grade 3 for the cost, choose one of your opponent's Rearguards without a Cradle Marker and put a Cradle Marker on it. So this just kind of helps mitigate the inevitable need to overcompensate your grade 3 lineup. I think they kind of, I mean, obviously they knew going into it that Helldemize is going to be a combo piece to it. So this helps sort of alleviate the cost of running too many grade 3s. Now, I have people that are very insistent that maybe only 10 is about what you're going to need, so 4 and then 2 of Helldemize. That very well may be so, and if that's the case, then things like this aren't really needed. You can save the space for something else. But if nothing else in the grade 1 lineup comes out that is really that good, I'm probably going to still wind up running this, and that's just because I just feel like this is a really solid card. I mean, it is a drop and draw, really, against anything else, but that is still something that I can see really benefiting, and it's also a card that does this without a counterblast. And this deck is shaping up to be a little counterblast heavy, not super, but a little bit. And when you're balancing that, sometimes you just need something that can help you get what you need for less of a cost, and that's what this card falls into. However, that is really all of the support we've gotten so far. We have some more leaks coming out here in the next couple days. I want to say, like, I don't even know, a couple more. We had Spikes today. I want to say tomorrow Shadow Paladin, but I don't know. Anyway, that is it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'm sorry the quality has not gotten to where I want it to be this year. I do still plan on bringing everything up a notch and doing live video and more editing and blah 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 blah. It's been a long week, and I just don't have it in me to do all this, and I don't want to get too behind on these because I like doing these, but I don't want to get behind because when I do, then that's just when I start to procrastinate and not do anything at all. I think at the end of last year, I was supposed to do a roundup of all the support and kind of like talk about like my closing thoughts, and I never ended up doing that. And I just don't want to follow suit with the same bad habit. So we're going to keep up with this. Next up, I'm probably going to wait for more support to come out in bulk, and then I'll review it from there. And after that, closing thoughts video, blah, blah, blah. I have a couple more deck profiles that I want to do. Overall, though, let me know what you want to see. I mean, whether it's a deck you really want to see me discuss, let me know if you want to see anything, topics-wise be discussed, any type of video content, really anything at all, just let me know. I'm just still trying to get like a feeling out there for what is worth doing. I'll probably hold off on like discussion videos until the full aesthetic that I'm trying to pull off is achieved. But anything else at all, let me know. Give me some feedback. And hopefully when we speak next time, I will be more rested and lively. Or not. Maybe I'll be like this forever. Maybe I'll start a Vanguard ASMR channel. Who knows? No. Thank you again for coming on this ride with me. We have some awesome stuff coming out, and I'm really excited to talk more about it. You guys have a good one.